I couldn't calm a third grade class like this. Good morning and welcome. At this time, I will call this meeting of the New Jersey State Council on the Arts to order. In keeping with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting has been shared with the required media outlets. It has been posted in the office of the Secretary of State. It is on the Council's website and shared via social media. Notice was also distributed broadly to all Council applicants and grantees, to our program partners, and others on the Council's email distribution list. As always, the notice offered accommodations for those who may need accessibility services. This morning, we welcome Suzanne Dukovic, to my right, from Total Caption, who's here this morning providing captioning services. Thank you, Susan. It's really heartwarming to see so many representatives from New Jersey's arts community with us this morning. As a field, we've had some wonderful opportunities to come together for networking and professional development in the past few months. We're very excited to welcome you all today. For some of you, this might be your very first council meeting ever. Whether you've joined us many times, in person, virtually, or never before, you're all welcome. Our annual meetings are always something we look forward to, a time to reflect on the previous year while we look ahead and celebrate what's to come. In that spirit of celebration, I'm happy that we joined today by New Jersey's artist, Hector Morales, who, among many other accomplishments, is a recipient of the 2024 State Arts Council Heritage Fellowship. Some background information is included in the agenda. As you can see, Hector has performed internationally for the past 20 years on some of the world's most renowned stages, and he has led countless music residencies, primarily in Afro-Peruvian, Latin, and urban percussion. Those of you with upcoming travel plans out of the new Terminal A, which is gorgeous, at Newark Airport, may also catch Hector playing there as part of the fabulous pre-flight playlist music series. Please join me in welcoming Hector Morales, who is performing this morning with vocalist Mariela Valencia and guitarist Eric Kerminsky. Please join us in welcoming them.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Buenos dias. Thank you so much for this invitation. We are so excited to be back to this special event. We're so proud to be able to bring the music of Peru, of the coast of Peru, for you today. It was a great honor to receive this award. I'm, of course, thankful to the amazing organization that nominated me for this award, the Institute of Music for Children, and to receive this fellowship is really special. I was asked to talk a little bit about the impact of this award in my work. And actually, it's a hard question to answer because I really don't know exactly how much it's going to impact it, but I know it's already impacting it in a great way, in a deep way, because all the dreams and all the projects that have been building in my career for at least the past 10 years, I think are now closer to become a reality. I have different ensembles I play with. The Afro-Peruvian ensemble is one of them, that we play traditional Afro-Peruvian music with some masters of this tradition. We've been looking for opportunities to record our music, to maybe do a video with it. Also another project called Lima en Azul. Lima is the city I come from. And Lima en Azul is a project which is kind of bless you, a collective with people also from Peru. I've been recording on my own, on my basement, via sometimes when I go to Lima, sometimes here, which is a project that looks a little bit also into the Creole experience of the music of the United States and also of Peru, of the coast of Peru, and maybe working with jazz and Afro-Peruvian and Creole rhythms. So that's been in the making for some time. And also musicians that I have met here, masters of Peruvian music actually, that live in New Jersey, that I had no idea I was going to encounter when I came to study music at William Patterson. I came to study jazz. Maestro Jaire, before passing, he left some music that was never recorded before. So maybe that's also in the plans of when I think about what could be done with this. So hopefully we'll be able to share all the music in the near future. But thank you so much for this award that allowed us to dream about those things. One other thing before we start playing, another impact that this music is already having is to be able to meet you and for you to meet me, and through that to share our culture, our music, and through me to have the opportunity to bring other people that are important in my journey and that you're going to be meeting today. One of the masters of the music of the coast of Peru, of Afro-Peruvian and Creole music, Miss Mariela Valencia. Is with us today, and it's a true honor to have been working together for about 20 years and to be with her today. And Maestro Eric Kurimski on the guitar. And I was talking about Maestro Carlos Jaire. When I met Eric, Eric was studying with Carlos, and he became his protege. So in a way, it's a great reunion because all this happened in New Jersey, in Union City, different Patterson, and that's how this cooked. So we're going to share with you now some music that hopefully will speak better than I can. And we're going to start with a song called En Nombre de Dios.
En nombre de Dios comienzo. Siempre es bueno comenzar. En el nombre de María. Sin pecado,
Llévalo. 1, 2, 3.
en nombre de Dios comienzo, en nombre de Dios comienzo. Siempre es bueno comenzar, siempre es bueno comenzar. En el nombre de María, en el nombre de María, sin pecado original, sin pecado original. Pan alivio, malivio, sa.
Panalivio malivio sa.
Pan alivio, malivio, sa.
Panalivio malivio sa.
Pan alivio, malivio, sa,
Panalivio, malivio, sa.
Panalivio, malivio, sa.
Panalivio, malivio, sa.
Llévalo.
Toma, 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 toma. Eso es.
Señor caporal, por Dios, señor caporal, por Dios, achiquenos la tarea, achiquenos la tarea. Si no la puede achicar, si no la puede achicar, achiqueta, 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 achiqueta. Panalivio, malivio, sa.
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 Sí.
Sa, sa, sa. Panalivio, malivio, sa.
Panalivio, malivio, sa.
Dámelo, 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 dámelo. Un gallinacito volando bajo, ja. Un gallinacito volando bajo, en busca de la mulita muerta le encontró, en busca de la mulita muerta y muerta le encontró,
Y muerta la encontró.
y muerta le encontró,
Y muerta la encontró.
y muerta le encontró,
Y muerta la encontró.
y muerta le encontró.
Y muerta la encontró.
Zancudito por aquí,
Zancudito por allá.
zancudito por aquí,
Zancudito por allá.
malayase ese mosquito,
Malaya sea que me picó.
malayase ese zancudo,
Malaya sea que me picó.
malayase, malayase,
Malaya sea que me picó.
malayase, malayase,
Malaya sea que me picó.
¿cómo? Ah, y que me picó, y que me picó, y que me picó, y que me picó, llévalo, y que me picó.
That was a style of music called festejo, which means festivity, celebration. It's one of the, probably the most popular style of Afro-Peruvian music. Celebrates many things, of course. And today we thought it was appropriate to celebrate with you, starting with this song. We're going to do, we know we don't have much time, so maybe this is the beginning of a journey, but we're going to share with you another song, which is another style called Landó, and this is called Ruperta. We hope you enjoy it.
A mi prima la Ruperta, el santo se le ha volteado. Ya no consigue marido por andar de lado en lado. A mi prima la Ruperta, el santo se le ha volteado. Ya no consigue marido por andar de lado en. Ay, que la Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Mi prima Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Caramba, caramba, ya se ha quedado, quedado,
Ruperta ya
quedado.
se ha quedado.
Mi prima Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Cajón. Eso es. Un chinito que la quería lloraba por su querer, pero qué negra tan mala no tiene perdón ni ley. Un chinito que la quería lloraba por su querer, pero qué negra tan mala no tiene perdón ni ley. Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Mi prima Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Ya se ha quedado, ya se ha quedado, ya se ha quedado.
Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Ya se ha quedado, ya se ha quedado, ya se ha quedado.
quedado.
Mi prima Ruperta ya se ha quedado. Ruperta ya se ha quedado.
Thank you, Hector, Mariella, and Eric. And those of you who are a few rows behind cannot say, she did that in spiked high heels. Look at this with the glasses. It's very fitting that we kicked off this morning with that performance. As fiscal year 25 marks 30 years since the council first began the Folk Arts Apprentice Program. That program served as the impetus for last year's Heritage Fellowship and this year's new Folk and Traditional Arts Project Grant, which will be announced later this morning. Before going any further, I would like to recognize someone in the audience who is certainly a friend of the council. Carol Kronheim. Carol. Carol is a former Assistant Secretary of State, and she's a current Cultural Trust Board member. Thank you for being here, Carol. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve today's agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The agenda is approved. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting held on May 14th, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Now for the chair's report. The council enters fiscal year 25 with a cultural projects appropriation in the state of New Jersey budget of $31.9 million. Sharon will touch on this later this morning, but I would be remiss if I didn't uplift the significance of going into a new multi-year grant cycle with this historic level of funding, which comes from the revenue generated through the state's hotel-motel occupancy fee. That source and that strategy were established in 2003 by our state's advocates and our state leaders. As you all know, the funding mechanism was recently under review with the possibility of significant changes. Led by the team at Art Pride, New Jersey arts advocates reached out to Governor Murphy and the legislature in astounding numbers. Your voices and your message was heard. In reviewing and rejecting the potential changes, Governor Murphy stated the following, and I quote, "Cultural projects contribute to the vibrancy of New Jersey's communities, serve as catalysts for broader economic development in our neighborhoods, and attract visitors and businesses to the state," end quote. And today, we are incredibly grateful to the Murphy administration, to Lieutenant Governor Way, and the legislature for upholding the strategy and continuing to support this agency at this very historic level. The work of the council is not possible without the support of our advocates and partners in the field. We're thankful to have such a passionate group of supporters and colleagues here in New Jersey. I'd like to recognize the entire board and staff at Art Pride, New Jersey. Specifically, Adam Pearl, who's with us. Adam? Vincent Hall. Vincent. Vanessa Rumallo. And the board chair at Art Pride, Paul McRae. If anyone has questions about Art Pride's work, I encourage you to connect with these people after the meeting. At the heart of all of our work in the artist community, for over 50 years, the Council has provided direct funding to artists through our Individual Artist Fellowship Program, which has grown tremendously over the past few years, not only in the number of awards given, but also the potentially life-changing amounts of the awards. The 2025 awards are shaping up to be another monumental year. These awards are on a different schedule, and the application deadline for the 2025 fellowship recently closed. I'm happy to share that we received 942 applications. I'm happy, I don't know that the staff is. This is a record, and this response is a testament not only to the impactful growth of the program, but also the importance of direct funding to artists through the Arts Council. Also, seeing growth in recent years is the New Jersey Cultural Trust, which is currently accepting applications for the Institutional and Financial Stabilization Grants for Arts Organizations, or IFS. The Cultural Trust is a unique, complex, and critically important resource in our state. In short, the Trust is a sister state agency in the Department of State. The grants through the Trust support both the history and art sectors in alternating years. Fiscal year 25 is an arts year, which means the Council plays a supportive role as a recommending agency and works in partnership with the Trust to administer their grant program to serve the field in building greater operational capacity. The application is open until August 15th for qualified organizations. More information is available and from our colleagues at the Cultural Trust. I'm having cataract surgery in a couple of weeks. I can hardly read. I apologize. I just told you my age. This concludes my chair's report. At this time, I'd like to ask our terrific executive director, Allison Tratner, to deliver her report.
Good morning. Thank you. And one of the things that Liz's young eyes couldn't see is to let you know that Izzy and Avery, if you want to raise your hands, from the Cultural Trust are here. They can answer any questions, as can Carol, who we noted earlier, is also here. So thank you all for being here. And I should also note that on the welcome table, there's information about all of the opportunities that Liz noted, and more. So my goal with this report is to recap the spending and the programs of the last year, to provide a snapshot of what we've been up to and how we as an agency remain accountable to the field and to the people of New Jersey. We have a few slides, so the details will be front and center for you. I hope everyone, though, had a chance to pick up also on the welcome table what's called the Year in Review. There's a beautiful stained glass image taken from the Newark Museum, thank you. On the cover, you can see it, and it was, inside there is more details than I will give you here, but we'll give you a snapshot. So at the start of fiscal year 24, Governor Murphy and the legislature had for the third time dedicated, as we heard for this year, but last year, $31.9 million to the council through the state budget. That vote of confidence for our agency and our industry was a huge bright spot as we continued to navigate financial uncertainty in the field. The council focused the bulk of its resources last year on increasing flexible multi-year support through the General Operating Support Grant Program. Fiscal year 24, the year we just finished, was the fifth and final year of that cycle that had been extended due to COVID. And we were grateful to continue to be a reliable source of income for existing grantees. In the absence of new applications and therefore the necessary factors we'd need for redistribution, the council made across-the-board increases, with few exceptions, formulated to address really the rising costs of doing business. So on the screen now, you can see that in fiscal year 24, the council had a little over $33.5 million to work with. The funds were a combination of the state appropriation as well as the competitive partnership grant from the National Endowment for the Arts. And you can see on the slide, roughly 93% of those funds went right back out the door in grants to artists and arts organizations. And annually, the council is mandated to ensure that 25% of the grant funds are invested in the 8 southern counties. And in fiscal year 24, we not only met, but significantly exceeded that requirement. And on this next slide, we see how the grants broke down. The council's largest grant program, General Operating Support, General Programming Support, or GOS, GPS, was increased across the board, as I mentioned. We know this is among the most challenging kind of funding for nonprofits to come by, and so 64% of the council's funds were invested this way. By maintaining funding through the local arts program, which was tripled in fiscal year 22 when our budget grew, the 21 officially designated county arts agency partners made sure that council dollars landed in the hands of 600 additional organizations and individuals serving communities in every county, and helping to ensure that state dollars can reach beyond the borders that define eligibility for GOS and GPS. With an increased investment of $2 million in the Individual Artist Fellowship Program, the council supported a historic 160 artists last year. We instituted a new structure that has 2 levels, finalist and fellow, with awards as high as $31,000 for artists in 6 different disciplines. Pretty amazing. The council also awarded the inaugural New Jersey Heritage Fellowships, which provided $20,000 each to 10 outstanding artists in acknowledgement of their significant contribution to New Jersey's folk and traditional arts and cultural communities statewide, and we heard from Hector this morning, one of our fellows. The council also focused funding on projects that serve the field at large, incentivizing investment in the industry and helping us meet our shared goals. Projects like the Cultural Access Network, the 5 regional folklife centers, the Creative Aging Initiative, artist residencies in schools, and public art programs. The council's increased fiscal year 24 investment in organizations, projects, and artists resulted in 357 direct grants and an additional 600 re-grants through the local arts program, or $31,158,500 in 957 grants. Just slightly more or less than the applications we got in individual artist fellowships this year. So we can handle it. Quantifying that investment is easy. It's numbers. And once we get all the final reports, once they're all submitted from direct grantees and then also from the county arts agencies and their grantees, we can see that these dollars leverage hundreds of millions more in economic impact. They draw millions of visitors and audience members, and they employ thousands of individuals, helping New Jersey families and communities and industries build toward vibrancy. The final reports that I just mentioned, sort of in passing, they are a key ingredient for the work that we do in not only measuring our collective accountability in putting public funds to good use, but in helping to make the case for significant support for the arts. They also help us gain insight into the realities of running a nonprofit today. So on the slide with the grants overview, the big pie chart, you saw the majority was taken up by operating grants, and that's true. The project grant area, however, can't be measured as neatly in dollars. What you see here on this slide is an overview of partnerships, initiatives, and services managed by our team, many representing the best in public and private partnerships. And you'll notice there's some overlap. There are some grant programs listed here, and that's because they are directly linked to service through and then beyond the dollars, customized to a specific constituency. And while a few of these things have no grant dollars, they are powered by council staff, time, and expertise. What we've learned these last few years and what was confirmed through our strategic planning process is that the public would like the council to, in addition to funding, foster opportunities for professional learning, network building, across sectors and with one another. Working in partnership with organizations across the country and here in New Jersey, we've been able to serve hundreds of organizations and thousands of individuals through new and strengthened services. So on this slide, you see some of them, and I'll just mention a couple. Professional development for artists significantly increased. We heard the call and we tried to deliver. In fiscal year 24, through our partnerships with the Business Action Center, Forecast Public Art, Mid-Atlantic Arts, our data tells us we reached nearly 900 artists throughout our programs last year. I actually think that's low, but that's what the data says. And our first ever multi-session series on capacity building reached more than 400 participants. These are representatives from organizations that are smaller in size and are looking to build their capacity. The collaborative approach to what we do is really why it works. And a great example of that collaboration is our Communities of Practice series. These are made up of council cohorts, grantees of council, grantee organizations, and they're managed by small teams of council staff. And these regular meetings that we've been having with groups, they've been a game changer for us. The feedback tells us they're also valuable for those who participate. And I want to thank you to those who make the time to participate. Last year, we facilitated more than 40 virtual gatherings, it was a lot, and it gave us a lot. So giving and having space to learn and share with colleagues really is more valuable, because the more that we learn, the more strategic we can be in our support. And I'm really proud of what we've been able to do as this area of our work grows. In addition to the support connected to council programs, the staff prioritizes applicant and grantee support all year. We know last year, fiscal year 24, our staff assisted thousands of individuals virtually, in person, and on the phone. Between webinars, office hours, workshops, and presentations, hundreds of hours were logged helping the public gain access to council information, resources, and this year we began implementing ways to track these efforts so that we can figure out who we're reaching and where they are, and who we're not, where they are. When I reflect solely on the applicant and grantee support provided in fiscal year 24, it is overwhelming. For most on staff, we were launching a top-of-cycle grant application process for the first time. We have a relatively new team. And for all of us, we were doing it in a new way. I've been here a long time. This was different. When the guidelines for GOS hit the public in September, they had been years in the making. And when the information sessions began at that same month, program officers started what was a marathon of service and support. It has been an emotional ride at times, but we are attempting to do things differently. As an agency, we have committed to listening and learning, to assessing and challenging inequities in our work at all levels, and we're doing that. And I'm grateful for the talented staff that we have and this dedicated board who are unwilling to accept the status quo. So on staff, we're a group of 14, just 14 state employees. Their names are on the screen. The people behind the scenes at the council are mission-driven professionals. Here you see their names. They are all here today. They are smart and gritty and creative, and they are multitaskers. They're not only not afraid of change, but they are champions for it. And I would like those who are not already standing from the staff to please stand up so that we can see you and recognize you. Oh, that is not everybody. I know we've got one in the balcony, and I know we've got a few over in the reception, so everyone is really, I mean, they're all hands on deck today, so I'm really glad that you'll have the chance to meet them today if you haven't yet. I want to note that since our last annual meeting, a few things have changed. We said goodbye to some longstanding staff members who retired. I believe one of them is here today, Mary Eileen Forat. I thought I saw her, but I don't know. and Kim Nguyen, who's not here today, but enjoying retirement. And we welcomed new staff members who are both here today, and who I know one is standing right in the back, and that's Stella Baldwin. If you could just wave, a brand new face. And Andrew Binger, who I know he's here, but he must be busy. So he's here. Find a way to meet him later this afternoon if you can. And we're in for more changes this year, one of which I'll mention now and one we'll hear about later. I'm excited to say that next month we are going to be welcoming Sally Vandewater to the council staff as our new program officer in folk and traditional arts. Sally is here. If you would wave. You don't even work here yet, and we're putting you on the spot. That's great. So as Liz mentioned, this marks 30 years since the council first launched the Folk and Traditional Arts Apprenticeship Program, and it's the perfect time to bring on someone like Sally, someone who has as much impressive professional expertise as she has passion and what seems like real delight for this work. Many of you know her from her time in the field, and those who don't, you will soon, and I'm excited for you to meet her. It's such an important time to be doing this work, and as challenging as it can be sometimes, I am grateful for the opportunity to do it. Thank you to Liz and to the full board for your time, for your leadership, for your expertise, and for your trust and faith in the staff and me to move us through this uncharted territory. So wishing everyone a great rest of the summer, good health, and thanks for being here.
The eyes. Take them off the shoes.
I know, I do the same thing.
Thank you, Allison, and thank you to everyone at the, certainly the council, but the staff. You're just a phenomenal group of people. You work very hard, you're very smart, and we truly appreciate every one of you. Thank you. I've been on this board a long time, and a lot has changed over the years. And as Allison said, things continue to change. One big change we're expecting in just about a month is the retirement of Irene Wells. Whether you're new to the council or a longtime partner or grantee, odds are you've interacted with Irene. She's been the executive assistant to the executive director for 18 years. That's 5 different executive. That's 5 different executive directors, including an intermediate executive director before that. And before that, she was at the Office of the Secretary of State for a few years. More than 2 decades of public service and a whole career before that even began. Irene, thank you always for taking such good care of us. It's clear to me and anyone who knows you that the council, the agency, and the people mean a lot to you. We will somehow figure out how to keep it straight once you step away on September 1st. All these years you've been thoughtful, supportive, and kind, always with a smile and a helpful hand, and for that, we thank you. I know the staff has plans to celebrate you next month, but for now, on behalf of all of us on the board and in front of the field you're working so long to support, please accept the token of our appreciation and well wishes for an exciting next life chapter. Irene? And now, at this time, I would like to ask the chair of the Planning Committee, Carol Herbert, to deliver her report. Carol?
Okay, I had to show Liz what you do when you have cataracts and you have it print out your report. You get it as bold and big as you can, and you get it triple spaced, and thank you, Michelle. So now I won't have to get cataract surgery. Good morning, everyone. One of the directives of the Planning Committee is to keep an eye on how well we're following the path we set for ourselves. Using our long-range strategic plan and our annual program and operations plan as our guides. This kind of ongoing assessment helps keep us accountable and helps us understand what's working and what's not. We heard Allison recap in broad strokes the way council funds were spent last year and some of the outcomes, and I'll further contextualize that information relative to what we said we were going to do. The strategic plan is available. Where am I now? Last year was the first year of the council's new strategic plan, which is available on the front table for anyone who would like a copy. And as always, we created a program plan for the year, including articulated priorities. These priorities are on the slide behind me, and I won't walk us through each one in great detail, but I will highlight a few things. We said we would prioritize making grants to organizations and artists that would strengthen the arts sector and contribute to statewide vitality in equitable and accessible ways. In FY24, the council distributed nearly $20 million in operating grants alone, increasing multi-year support to help offset the rising costs of doing business, growing stability in the field, and helping New Jersey maintain footing as a state rich with vibrant cultural assets and attractions. We leaned further into an equity-centered strategy to help smaller organizations continue to build capacity, and made a record-breaking investment in New Jersey's working artists, providing means for basic needs and sustaining and strengthening careers. We said we would provide professional services for the field based on current needs and opportunities. Based on the public input we received and field trends, the staff launched a new multi-session professional development series called The Business of Being an Artist, while also continuing our Making It Public series for artists interested in expanding their art and making it public practice into public spaces. Both of these programs were offered free of charge to artists of all disciplines at any stage in their careers. We also offered a new multi-session professional development series focused on critical financial services for arts nonprofits. The Nonprofit Finance Fund Watch Party series, which maintained a steady level of participation all year long. We said we would grow the council's multifaceted communication strategy with enhanced tools, information and materials. The staff continue to excel at and refine high-quality constituent relations and assistance across all teams. And we strengthened our communications and assets online and in print, such as that beautiful year in review on the table. Make sure you all get one, okay? It is beautiful. The Public Value Committee had a string of impactful initiatives communicating about the value of the work of this agency and the importance of supporting arts organizations, artists, and arts workers statewide. We said we would further embrace principles of diversity, equity, access, and inclusion. To increase access to the first GOS top of the cycle in 5 years, we overhauled our grant guidelines with a clear focus and direct language, and added a longer timeline to help ensure broader and deeper understanding of the funding opportunities. This effort included a robust schedule of resource sessions, webinars, office hours, customized 24/7 online assistance, and a grant writing tips social media campaign. We also focused on refining the panel process through the addition of an anti-bias orientation for panelists and strategic efforts to engage specialists from diverse racial, gender, educational, and geographical backgrounds. We said we would build internal capacity and streamline operations. We heard Allison speak about how the changes on staff are moving us toward this goal. Internally, the staff implemented a new planning strategy with a newly articulated structure to align our resources, goals, capacity, and communications. Decision-making is getting easier, which means we're getting more efficient, which means we can be more effective. We continue to improve the technical tools we all use, including SAGE, in order to simplify the process on both sides and better organize and use the data we collect. When it comes time to prepare the plan for the new year, all that looking back helps us look ahead. We have work to do, and we'll all hear about this coming year as we move through the agenda. But I am incredibly proud of the strides that we've taken this past year towards the goals we set for ourselves. Goals that grew out of a year-long process of strategic planning in which the public told us where they wanted us to focus. I want to thank my planning committee members. It was a light year for us compared to the strategic planning year we just concluded, but we remain accountable. And I also want to thank Michelle for all the hard work and effort that she put into making this happen. Personally, thank you, Michelle. Where she is. Anyway, I would like to say that I wish you all good health and strength of spirit. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Now it's my turn to report to you on the recommendation of the Council's Executive Committee. As previously noted, this report will center on the fiscal year 25 Program Budget and Operations Plan, or Program Plan. The plan includes the priorities that will guide our work this year, all within the context of the strategic plan. At the conclusion of this meeting, the fiscal year 25 program plan will be posted online. So first, the budget, and the numbers will appear on a slide behind me. The Council's fiscal year 25 cultural projects appropriation from the state is $31.9 million. Amazing. This continued investment by Governor Murphy and the legislature places New Jersey 6th in the nation with regard to state support for the arts. And considering the size of New Jersey compared to other states, that makes it even more remarkable. While we've all seen news of state funding for the arts being cut across the country, this ranking sends a clear signal that the arts mean business and a better overall quality of life for all of us in the great state of New Jersey. Our colleagues at the National Endowment for the Arts have shown their confidence in our work by not only renewing, but increasing their multi-year commitment to us through the State Partnership Grant Program. This is the final year of this critical 3-year funding cycle, and we will receive from the NEA $1,195,200. The Council's administrative appropriation from the state is $455,000. State budget language allows for an additional up to 5% of the cultural projects appropriations to be spent on administrative costs, which enables the Council to build effective internal operations and also invest in non-grant services for the field. Altogether, the Council is working with $33,550,200 for fiscal year 2025. The administrative budget for the year includes the Department of State's projection of salaries and benefits for the council staff, as well as non-salary operational costs, and a growing roster of public services, accounting for roughly 7% of the council's total projected spending from all sources for fiscal year 25. This means we will invest more than $31 million directly into New Jersey communities through hundreds of grants, a minimum of 25% of which, per state budget language, will be granted out to organizations and artists in the 8 southern counties. As we move through the agenda today, you will hear from my colleagues how this year's program plan will become action. The people taking those actions include our amazing staff and our board. Present here today are some, but not all, of my fellow council members. I'm grateful to each one of the other 13 voting members who volunteer their time and expertise all year long, as well as the 3 ex officio members who provide important insight and leadership. You can see we currently have 3 vacancies on our board, and we encourage those with an interest in learning about council service to contact the Governor's Appointment Office or your state representative. This council and staff have worked hard, especially in the last 3 years, to be a flexible, responsive, compassionate partner in the field as extraordinary public health, social, and financial challenges loomed large. And I'm proud of the work we've done. Those challenges have evolved, but they're not gone. And we have committed through our work, our strategic plan, and our fiscal year 25 program plan to doing what we can to contribute to positive, lasting change. And this change is not possible without our partners in the arts and across sectors, locally and nationally. With a sustained focus on equity and sustainability, the Council will invest in New Jersey communities, in our families and individuals through grant programs and professional services in all of the 21 counties. As fiscal year 25 marks year 2 of our current strategic plan, this year's priorities are a continuation of last year's foundational work and the ongoing operationalizing of values of diversity, equity, access, and inclusion in everything we do. The updating, evolving strategies and service to the priorities are the result of ongoing self-assessment and field communication, with accounting for initiatives underway, as well as current circumstances and agency capacity. The plan broadly describes the areas of work to which staff and board have committed and becomes the guide for the development of individual work plans for the year. I would now like to offer the following motion: that the fiscal year 2025 program and operations plan as previously circulated be adopted. Is there a second?
Second.
Recusals? Abstentions? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you to my colleagues and the staff for your work in getting us here today. I look forward to working alongside you in the coming years to come. At this time, I would like to invite the Chair of the Public Value Committee, Ruth Lipper, to deliver her report. Ruth?
Thank you, Liz, and good morning, everyone. It's great to see such wonderful turnout. But I'm not surprised based on the response that the call to action for the funding brought forth. Clearly, you all understand public value of art. The Public Value Committee has kept its focus helping to communicate the work of the Council and the importance of state funding, while also uplifting the significance of our state's arts organizations and artists. As referred to during Carol Herbert's Planning Committee report earlier, we took the opportunity to welcome the new members of the legislature while also connecting with returning members. The committee has engaged with all 120 members at strategic points throughout the fiscal year to not only offer gratitude for the ongoing level of funding and support, but to drive home the impact of the arts on our economy, local communities, and overall quality of life in the state of New Jersey. It's important that the legislature hear from the council, and it's equally as important that they hear from their constituents, that would be all of you, living and working in New Jersey. I'd like to take this moment to encourage everyone who benefits from the council programs and services to reach out to your elected officials, local, state, and federal, to thank them and to let them know an investment in the arts makes a difference. Whether it's direct funding through the local arts program, professional development opportunities, or other resources or services, it's your personal stories that make a difference. The stories about how your organization and your work is helping you, your family, and your communities thrive. In addition to sharing our work locally, I'm excited to share that the council-supported programs and initiatives are attracting national attention. As a state arts agencies, one of our most important peer groups is the NASSA, or the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies. While the council works with the NASSA regularly, they host conferences every other year for staff members from arts agencies across the country to come together to share best practices, research from the field, and so much more. I'm thrilled to report that a few council staff members have been invited to present at this year's conference, sharing our work with state arts funders nationwide. Danielle Bursk, is she here? Our Director of Community Partnerships and Artist Services. Danielle has been invited to discuss the community-based art grant program, which we've been doing with the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection since 2019. We are honored to have the opportunity to talk about the importance of cross-sector partnerships and the power of the arts have in sparking important global conversation. Program officers Lindsay Dendio and Diane Felson, are you here, ladies? Have also been invited. They have also been invited to present at NASA on Arts Pay New Jersey, which we heard about earlier. The potential for insights to help our industry move closer to an environment of equity and sustainability is almost limitless. That, paired with the fact that the council is just one of many in the public-private partnerships that got Arts Pay off the ground, is what makes this project so attractive as a national model. And in other exciting partnership news, over the weekend, we learned that State of the Arts has been nominated for 4 New York Emmys. State of the Arts is a cornerstone program of New Jersey TV Public Media New Jersey, produced by the Arts Council and Stockton University in cooperation with PCK Media. We are honored that the New York Emmys Committee has once again recognized this longtime production, which goes on location with creative personalities and productions across the state of New Jersey. As I reflect back on the work of the Public Value Committee this past year, I want to highlight the invaluable contributions of Michelle Baxter-Schaefer, the Director of Communications. And the council looks forward to future work and collaboration. We have to take a moment also to recognize someone who has not only been a longstanding friend and colleague of the council, but to the entire field. Probably the most passionate and knowledgeable advocate many of us have had the pleasure of knowing, Anne Marie Miller. She couldn't join us today, And while she's been honored by many, well-deserved, since her retirement last winter, but somehow it still feels right to sing her praises. Just a few short weeks ago, as Liz mentioned, the arts community mobilized in record time in support of arts funding through the state budget. We now know that during those days, thousands of people raised their voices. The credit for that kind of activity goes to each and every individual who took action, and the impressive way that it is organized is thanks to Adam Pearl. His board, his fairly new but talented staff. Is Adam here today? Yes. And it's undeniable that the decades of Anne Marie's astute listening, learning, sharing, and leading laid the foundation for the incredible, complex network that is this arts community in New Jersey. Thank you, Anne Marie, for your decades of dedication. We hope that you are enjoying this next chapter, and thank you also for not going far, staying in New Jersey, and leaving us in great hands. Respectfully submitted, Ruth Lipper, Chair of Public Values.
Thank you, Ruth. And now, at this time, I'd like to ask Chair of our Arts Education Committee, Kevin O'Brien, to deliver his report. Kevin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. The Arts Education Committee and the council staff have been very busy this past year, expanding partnerships, providing new resources to teaching artists, and deepening existing programs that provide arts learning to New Jerseyans of every age. In FY24, the State Council launched The Business of Being an Artist, a free professional learning series for artists, folk artists, and teaching artists throughout the state. Sessions were led by local and national experts in healthcare, financial well-being, and digital marketing for artists. The series of virtual offerings concluded with the second Teaching Artists Speed Networking event, which engaged over 200 teaching artists and 15 arts organizations. This year, we anticipate offering 4 new professional learning and networking opportunities for artists across the state through the Business of Being an Artist and the Teaching Artists Community of Practice, a bi-monthly open forum for teaching artists to network and share resources. For more information about the Teaching Artists Community of Practice or Professional Learning Series, please contact Samantha Clark, our Program Officer for Arts Education and Lifelong Learning. Last month, the Arts Education team began working with the Learning Agenda, a national consultant with expertise in youth learning and development. For the past 18 months, the State's Arts Council and the Learning Agenda, for the next 18 months, the State's Arts Council and the Learning Agenda will engage in research, focus groups, and field work to develop a guide for designing and implementing arts programming for justice and systems impacted youth in New Jersey. Along with our partners at the Juvenile Justice Commission and the Department of Child Protection and Permanency, we look forward to learning more about arts education, how arts education can engage the lives of young people more effectively. To learn about the council, the work is doing to engage in the justice and systems impacted youth, please contact, again, Samantha Clark. Turning to Poetry Out Loud. In May, Poetry Out Loud piloted a new initiative called Poetry Ourselves. Poetry Ourselves provided 12 of the state and regional finalists one-on-one mentorship with a poet and professor to learn techniques for writing and performing original poetry. The poems were evaluated by a panel of judges, and the top 3 participants were named at the Poetry Ourselves Poetry Slam on May 18th. School and community registration for this year's Poetry Out Loud will start at the beginning of September. For more information, you can visit njpol.org. As always, thank you to our program partner, Count Basie Center for the Arts, for all of their hard work on Poetry Out Loud, especially the Poetry Out Loud coordinator, Kenya Bullock. The State Arts Council remains invested in the work that teaching artists bring into the classroom, and this year is no different. Sharon will discuss this in greater detail shortly, but this year, we introduced the Long-Term Residency Supplement, or LETRS. This opportunity will provide arts organizations $10,000 to supplement long-term teaching artist residencies in schools and alternative educational settings across the state. The program will support long-term residencies across the state for 10 days or more, helping to ensure that New Jersey students continue to participate in high-quality arts education. I want to thank the members of the Arts Education Committee for their hard work this past year, our Vice Chair Dee Kirk, Jeremy Grunin, Lana Goldwalder, Gina Hollings, Dr. Michael Pena, Vivian Scott Chu, Joyce Gore, and Elizabeth Matson. Our special thanks to the Arts Council staff and leadership, specifically our staff liaison. I call her my left and my right arm, Samantha Clark. Samantha, you're back there, right? I always look forward to letting everyone know what my arms are doing in the arts education, and that's Samantha. I look forward to more great work to come with this committee and our talented and dedicated partners across the state. Madam Chair, I respectfully submit this report. Kevin O'Brien, Arts Education Chair.
Thank you, Kevin. At this time, I will ask Ophelia, a member of our nominating committee, to deliver her report. Ophelia?
Well, good morning. It's still morning. It is my pleasure to deliver the committee report on behalf of the chair, Joyce Gore, and put forth a slate of individuals nominated to be the council's officers for fiscal year 2025. I want to thank our Deputy Attorney General, Brian Raguman, who is here to certify the results of today's vote. The nominating committee is composed of Chair Joyce Gore, Vice Chair Lana Goldwalder, Sharon Burton Turner, Ruth Lipper, and Kevin O'Brien, with alternate Vivian Scott Chu. We have forwarded the slate to all council members in advance of this meeting, as called for in our bylaws. After we conclude the nominating process, we will vote by written ballot. Deputy Attorney General Ragunan will tabulate our votes and will announce the results. On behalf of the nominating committee, I nominate the following people. For Chair, Felicia Grant. For First Vice Chair, Elizabeth Matson. For Second Vice Chair, Carol Ann Herbert. I will now call for any nominations from the floor for the office of Chair. Hearing none, may I have a motion that the nominations be closed?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any recusals? Abstentions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. I will now call for any nominations from the floor for the office of First Vice Chair. Hearing none, may I have a motion that nominations be closed?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any recusals? Abstentions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. I will now call for any nominations from the floor for the office of second vice chair. Hearing none, may I have a motion that nominations be closed?
So moved.
Second? Second. Are there any recusals? Abstentions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried, and all nominations are closed. Thank you. Ballots containing the nominees for each office are contained in the package of materials in front of the council members. Please cast your ballots quickly, fold them in half, and Irene will collect them and pass them to our Deputy Attorney General, who will tabulate the results. We will proceed to other items of business while the votes are tabulated and bring you the results a bit later.
Thank you, Ophelia. Now it's time for Sharon Burton Turner and the grants report. They're all waiting. They had to listen to me first.
Thank you, Liz, so much. And I know why you're here. And I am so happy to be here with you to deliver my report. For me, it's always an honor to be with you in person. And thank God we were able to do it again this year. To everyone here today, as well as our colleagues unable to join us, I thank you all for all the work you do to ensure that the arts continue to make a difference in each and every community across this state. The reality of running an arts nonprofit means you are called on to raise money and apply for grants. We know that applying for grants is difficult, and we commend you for committing the time, the resources, and effort it takes to do so. Council staff worked for months to help applicants navigate program guidelines, the state systems, and everything in between. And our multi-step intake process helps ensure the review panels have everything they need to provide accurate and meaningful feedback on the applications in their specialty area. This year, being that it's the top of the cycle for our largest grants programs, Council staff facilitated panel days with more than 50 specialists over 3 months. Throughout all of it, they worked to ensure our process was as smooth as possible, upholding our commitment to transparency and matching the expectations we set publicly. At the last top of cycle, fiscal year 2020, we noted how we were chipping away at change. We were making important incremental steps towards greater equity in our grant-making strategies. And even then, with a level budget nearly half of what we have now, we implemented our first ever equity increases. It was a strategy that impacted only a handful of organizations, but nevertheless, it was a start. The years that followed pushed us into the deep end fast, and when this council had the opportunity to distribute increases of federal and state recovery dollars, we looked at need for the first time. We correlated grant awards to an organization's budget size inversely for the first time. Then thankfully, our budget doubled. And while we weren't able to open general operating applications, we continue to acknowledge the rising costs of doing business for existing grantees, the challenging nonprofit operating model, and the disparity in access to resources across organizations of different sizes. And now, here we are, 5 years later, We've opened applications for GOS and GPS for the first time. A lot has changed. In preparing for this cycle, in the program guidelines and in our public planning materials, we've been saying that this fiscal year 2025 top of cycle is an opportunity for the council to do the following: challenge inequities in our own historic funding patterns, focus on the actions that can affect positive change now and moving forward, contribute to stability and resiliency in the field, and provide support that will foster creativity and innovation. Today, we'll vote on the distribution of the majority of the fiscal year 2025 grants, putting these dollars to work as quickly as responsibly possible. The largest program, of course, is our General Operating Support Program, but that's not the only one. The Council will vote this morning on grants in the following categories. The slide indicates co-sponsored projects, folk and traditional arts projects, projects serving artists, the local arts program, general operating support, and general program support. Through the grants made today, we will put into practice the ideals expressed in our strategic plan to provide responsive and responsible support for the field. We will make historic increase in our overall investment of operating grants, and we will advance key council initiatives to maximize statewide service and impact beyond funding alone. When the Grants Committee met last month, the first thing we did was formalize the funding principles that would anchor our actions. These principles and actions, summarized on the slide behind me, allow the Arts Council to keep implementing relevant change that aligns with sector needs, to strategically build upon the modifications we've been making for a few years now, and help us to maintain the kind of leadership in funding practices that have long been the hallmark of the work that we do. In brief, for the annual and multi-year co-sponsored project grants, the committee has recommended maintaining level support with some exceptions. These adjustments are designed to strengthen areas of priority to the council and the field. In support of the inaugural folk and traditional arts project grants, we have recommended awarding 100% of the requests for recommended applicants. And the same goes for those who successfully applied through project serving artists. The 21 county arts agencies, local arts program partners will remain level in this final year of the extended multi-year cycle. And for the general operating and general program support applicants, the Grants Committee has recommended employing an approach to advance economic stability and improve mission-based outcomes, with a few exceptions. During our discussions and meetings over the course of the year, the Grants Committee adhered strictly to the ethical practice of recusing ourselves based on affiliations or the perception of a conflict of interest. We will do this again when we vote today, and the motions are structured to enable voting in such a way to be accomplished with recusals taken into consideration. This step is a necessity. As council members, we work with the staff to shape strategies that seed support for sector stability and resiliency. It is our knowledge of the field that helps us to inform this work, but we separate ourselves in regards to funding decisions for those specific organizations with whom we have an affiliation. In just a moment, I will introduce those motions, which will also be shared with you on the screen behind me. If the information on the slide is difficult to see, as you see it is for some of us, please don't worry. All the information will be available once we adjourn. In keeping with the established procedure for recusals, I will make a motion. I'll ask that there be a second. I will ask if there are any recusals, and if you're not able to vote on that motion, you will need to raise your hand, state your name, and say I have an affiliation with one or more of the organizations listed. I will then ask for abstentions, then for discussion, then call for the vote, to which those recusing would not respond. I ask everyone to speak up loudly and clearly. Okay. One vitally important way that the council achieves its goals of service to the entire state is through a roster of annual and multi-year co-sponsored projects and project-based grant initiatives. You will see adjusted investments to some partners across arts education and in community development. A few of those include support the Arts Education Census Project with Arts Ed New Jersey, which is undertaken every 5 years to measure K through 12 arts participation and access in the state. New capacity building initiatives through our work with a nonprofit finance fund, and increased investment to the theater lines for our support of the growth and activities of the New Jersey Arts, Culture, and Administration of Color Network. This slate also contains the inaugural folk and transitional arts project grants recommended for award. These grants provide emerging to mid-career folk and traditional artists with access to opportunities to achieve skills in their art form. Rounding out the council's project grants are the Project Serving Artists grants, which provide support to help eligible organizations cover costs for services to New Jersey artists. I shall now call for the vote that the proposed fiscal year 2025 grant awards be approved to support the projects listed on the project-based grant slate as previously circulated. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any recusals?
Carol Herbert, I'll go. I have an affiliation with one or more of the organizations of this slate.
I, Gina Healings, have an affiliation with one or more organizations on this slate.
Kevin O'Brien, I have an affiliation with one or more organizations on this slate.
Okay, I think that's it. Okay. Any abstentions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, the motion's carried. The second slate proposed is a local arts program investment. Since 1979, the council has worked in collaboration with the network of 21 officially designated county arts agencies to extend the reach of council resources through re-grant programs and services. This year, the final year in the extended multi-year cycle, we are recommending a maintained $6.2 million investment to keep building the capacity of our county arts agency partners to help provide financial support for small and grassroots organizations that are local in scope. Last year, the council will release, later this year, the council will release the new top-of-the-cycle grant guidelines and application for the 21 county arts agencies in anticipation of fiscal year 2026 funding. I shall now call for the vote that the proposed fiscal year 2025 grant awards be approved for the organizations listed on the local arts program slate as previously circulated. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any recusals?
I, Felicia Grand, have one affiliation with one or more of the organizations on this slate. I, Gina Healings, want to thank the council for the investment in this and also have an affiliation with one or more organizations on this slate.
Thank you. Oh, any abstentions? Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much. Next, I will be introducing a set of 4 slates that compromise the council's investments in GOS and GPS grantees, the keystone of the council's grant programs. GOS grants provide support for the overall operation of organizations with missions exclusively devoted to the arts. And GPS grants provide support for the operating costs of full-time, ongoing, public access arts program. This year, in GOS and GPS alone, the council received applications, you see I can't even say it, received applications requesting nearly double the amount of available funds. In alignment with the council's commitment to achieving greater equity in grant making, as well as an evolving understanding of access and impact, grant amounts were based on a multifaceted strategy that took into account many factors, including number of applications, available funds, panel score, budget size, and history of funding. What all of this means is that smaller budget organizations are receiving awards that make up a larger percentage of budget. And organizations whose award is disproportionate to that of their peers or budget size have been realigned. As part of an effort to maintain stability in the field, and in acknowledgement of the rising cost of doing business, the council established a higher minimum award than ever before, funding no less than $30,000, and a lower maximum award, funding no more than $1 million. As always, the goal with this strategy is to help support resiliency and stability in the field where we can. No destabilizing cuts in the budget are allowed, recognize excellence and impact in accordance with the published criteria, and fund as many eligible, qualified organizations as possible, those with and without a history of council support. By awarding funds in accordance with the funding principles and actions, we believe that these changes are the most impactful way to support the field. I will now call for the series of votes, and a reminder, these motions are structured to enable voting to be accomplished with recusals taken into consideration. I will pause for a moment between motions to allow time for everyone to view the list on screen. And as I stated, all grant information will be shared publicly at the close of today's meeting. Okay, let's advance the slides. GPS, okay. That the proposed fiscal year 2025 GBS grant awards be approved for the organizations listed on Slate 3 as previously circulated. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any recusals?
I, Gina Hewlings, have an affiliation with one or more organizations on this slate.
Abstentions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. GOS slate. That the proposed fiscal year 2025 GOS grant awards be approved for the organizations listed on Slate 4 as previously circulated. For the organizations highlighted in yellow, their award includes the $10,000 long-term residency supplement. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any recusals?
I, Ruth Lipper, recuse. I am affiliated with one or more of the organizations listed on this slate.
I, Kevin O'Brien, have an affiliation with one or more of the organizations on this slate.
I'm Elizabeth Benson, and I have a relationship with one or more of the organizations on the slate.
Thank you. Any abstentions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, so for the next slate, I've got to have my Grants Committee Vice Chair handle this call for vote. Ophelia?
Yes. That the proposed fiscal year 25 GOS grant awards be approved for the organizations listed on Slate 5 as previously circulated. Do I have a second? Any recusals?
Yes, Sharon Burton Turner, I have an affiliation, one of the organizations listed on the slate.
Any other? No. Abstentions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried.
Thank you, Ophelia. That the proposed fiscal year 2025 GOS grant awards be approved for the organizations listed on Slate 6 as previously circulated. Do I have a second? Second. Are there any recusals?
Okay, I'll go. I, Carol Herbert, recuse myself because I have an affiliation with one or more of the organizations on the slate.
I, Gina Hewlings, have an affiliation with one or more organizations on this slate.
Thank you. Any abstentions? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion's carried. Thank you. Just so that we're all aware, we just approved over $20 million in operating support for New Jersey organizations. The most this council has awarded strictly for operating support. Simply amazing. That concludes the Grants Committee's recommendations. Once the meeting is adjourned, council staff will be standing by in the reception area, handing out grant award lists. As always, all information will be posted on the council's website this afternoon. And the staff is available to follow up with anyone who has questions. All applicants will receive their award letter by email to the email address listed as the primary grant contact in their fiscal year 25 application in SAGE. If you applied and you do not receive an email by the end of this week, please contact the office. I want to also note, we reviewed a lot of data at multiple points during this process. We firmly believe in the soundness of the strategy we just approved, and we know that the large majority of applicants will agree. Inevitably, these decisions won't sit well with everyone, and we will do our best to support all inquiries. But back to the data for just a second. As I noted earlier, no new organizations have been able to apply for GOS and GPS grants in 5 years. And existing GOS and GPS grantees received increases to their base awards 2 of the last 3 years. A closed process out of necessity. Now comparing apples to apples, top of cycle to top of cycle, no fiscal year 2025 grant is a decrease from the original top of cycle award. In fact, when we looked at it, looking back to fiscal year 2020, the overall average increase in our organization's GOS grant between fiscal year 20 and fiscal year 25 is just under 200%. Let me close my report. Thank you. Thank you. Let me close my report. And as always, I've got to extend sincere thanks, even though it's not really sincere, but I will extend sincere thanks to my committee, who just show up sometimes. Every now and then I can count on them, but thank God they showed up this time. But anyway, no kidding aside, they are by far the best to work with. So let me just introduce you to them. And I know you see the names, but raise your hand when I call your name. My Vice Chair, Ophelia Garcia, invaluable. Members, Elizabeth Matson, love her. Carol Herbert keeps us satiated in chocolates and all kinds of good food. Gina Hewlings, Ruth Lipper, keeps us honest and on track all the time. and Kevin O'Brien. And alternates Jeremy Grunin and Dr. Michael Penna. Thank you for your collegiality, your thoughtfulness, your pushback. I truly appreciate it. Thanks also to the council staff. What on earth would we do without them, committee? What would we do? We wouldn't be here. What would we do? Thanks to the council staff for all they did to prepare us for our meeting today, but to prepare us throughout the year when we have our other meetings. They're always there on top all of the time. And I have a special shout out, and she's got to come out from the back because I know she's back there hiding. Tammy Herman, would you please get out here, Tammy? Oh, she's up here. You must have known I was going to do that this year. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. On behalf of the committee, we thank you and your team for all you do. And congratulations to today's grant recipients. Thank you for all you do to lift us up through your work. We've had some difficult times, but you pulled us through. My heartfelt wishes to your success in the coming year. And that concludes my report. Respectfully submitted, Sharon Burton Turner, Chair of the Grants Committee.
Thank you, Sharon. At this time, I'd like to call, I would also like to offer my congratulations to all the grantees. We have great confidence in the process and the people behind each one of those grant decisions. Still, we know that nobody and nothing is perfect. For that reason, we make an appeals process available for applicants in the GOS grant category who believe today's actions are due to a misunderstanding on the part of the panel review. Appeals information and instructions will be available on the council's website later. At this time, I'd like to ask Ophelia to read the results, to report on the election.
Yes, the results of the election are as follows. Chair, Felicia Grant. First Vice Chair, Elizabeth Madsen. Second Vice Chair, Carol Ann Herbert. Congratulations to our newly elected officers, and thank you all for your leadership on this board and your service to the people of New Jersey. Before I turn the microphone back to you, Liz, I'd like to say thank you for your years as our chair, and in fact, the full board would like to express our gratitude. Carol?
Thank you very much. It's very sweet of you.
But I have to say something.
Oh, okay. I figured that.
You know, Liz, it's been 12 years, almost to the day, since you agreed to take on the role of chair of this council. It was at the annual meeting in this room on July 31st, 2012. Our board looked different then. We looked different then.
We were younger.
Yeah, a lot younger. The staff was different, the administration was different, and the council had a budget that was roughly half the size it is today. We've been through a lot together, some incredible lows and incredible highs, and a lot of eye rolling. And your leadership through all of it has been unwavering. Thank you for your willingness to give so much of your time and insight and all the many miles that you have driven. Do you know how many cars, how many miles?
3 cars.
3 cars, okay. You are a good listener, compassionate partner, and with a fierce loyalty to this agency and community. We can always count on you to tell it like it is, even if it's unpopular, and your clever sense of humor is something I personally treasure. We know you're not going anywhere, but as you step down from this post of chair, we want to leave you with a token of our sincere appreciation And what a better way to do it than to give you a piece of art made by a New Jersey artist.
Oh, thank you.
This piece was made by Mud Girl Studio, a nonprofit organization based in Atlantic City. The organization is committed to helping women break the cycle of poverty and inspire change in their communities. They offer job training and a safe, healing environment in which to make and sell their functional, beautiful ceramic pieces. And I know supporting women, Liz, has always been a favorite thing of yours to do. So we hope you love this piece as much as we do. May you use it in good health and be reminded of the role you play in helping to ensure access to the arts for all people in this great state of New Jersey. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you want to open it, I'll do it. Okay.
It has been my utmost pleasure to have been chair of the council and to continue as a chair member. This is, as you can imagine, I've been on a couple of boards in my time. This is the hardest working. We have actually all become friends because we work so well together. We don't always agree, but we do work really well together. And to the staff and everyone, thank you very much. I've enjoyed almost every minute of it. Oops, okay. Now I would like to ask our new chair to come to the podium. Felicia, thank you for your willingness to step into this role and to lead this board through what promises to be another eventful year. I look forward to working with you in your new role. Congratulations and best wishes from all of us. Madam Chair, the podium is yours. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Liz, and thank you to the fellow council members for electing me to this position as chair. I'm excited to continue this work from a different vantage point than I have in the last 3 years on the council. And congratulations to first chair, Elizabeth Madsen, and second vice chair, Carol Herbert. I am especially grateful for the combined wisdom and experience you both possessed. Thank you very much. We're posed for more progress, great progress for this year, and I look forward to doing what I can to build on the accomplishments made under my leadership. Well, as my first official act as chair, I'll move us to the next item on the agenda. Is there any old business to conduct? Having none, is there any new business to
Madam
conduct?
Chair,
Oh,
I just want to give a quick note here, and I want to thank past Chair Elizabeth Madsen. I believe it was in 2012 that you appointed me your designee to the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission. I've enjoyed serving with her most of the times when I'm available. She's not. I'm not. She's available. But there are certain commission meetings that we both attended, and she can testify to this as well as I can. This Motion Picture and Television Commission has been phenomenal since 2018. That's when the tax incentives were signed by Governor Murphy. Since 2017, I just want to quickly give you some figures. Total production costs were $65,062. In 2022, production costs were $701,982,981. Those were certified in 2022. 2023's figures have not been certified yet. On April 23rd, 2024, I attended a co-sponsored event at the Morris Museum at the Bickford Theater. The Motion Picture and Television Commission with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority sponsored its first Film Ready New Jersey event. And Film Ready New Jersey is designed to educate local communities about hosting film and television productions and assisting them in the process. If you know of your locality, whether your municipality, your county, if they want to be involved in this film process, I can tell you right now, it's going to be an eye-opener for them to get involved. Right now, I can verify that I'm in IATSE. Our union just ratified the Hollywood Basic and the Area Standards Agreement. Actors have signed, everybody has signed, the Teamsters have signed, and I believe Writers Guild, everybody's on board now. I'll tell you this much, production is going to be exploding in New Jersey come this September, October, November. Right now, we're going to be at a minimum of sound stages. I know there's Lionsgate's building, and I believe Netflix is going to start groundbreaking this winter or spring. We're going to be in a shortfall of location shooting. So if you know of your mayor or your township that wants to get involved in Film Ready New Jersey, please go online at the New Jersey Motion Picture and Television Commission or the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. They will point you in the right direction, and you won't be disappointed. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Kevin.
I would just like to add to that, whatever your political affiliation is, nobody cares. Whatever you think of Phil Murphy, I don't care either. But that man has given the tax incentive, he has brought and continues to bring so many jobs to the state of New Jersey due to the filming of television and movies, and also $31 million. Isn't bad either. So I'd just like to really personally thank him. We're very grateful.
Thank you, Kevin, for that valuable information, and thank you, Liz. Where are we now? We're done hearing? Okay. At the top. At this time, is there anyone who would like to make a public comment? Okay. We're all good? Okay. On behalf of my fellow council members and the staff, thank you for all of you being here this morning. I hope everyone is able to stick around for refreshments, which will be available on the Patriots Theater stage. Once the meeting adjourns, the doors to my left will open, and you all can make your way to the stage for food and drinks. I'm also note here that at this reception that we'll hear a variety of music, and it all includes Hector. Again, a reminder, grants information is available from the council staff. You will find them ready and waiting for you as you make your way to the reception. So, I now call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Abstentions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion is carried. This meeting of the New Jersey State Council on the Arts is now officially adjourned. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your summer.